Ndinoda kuti nyika isiwe vanhu vangu inguva yedu hatingatadzi kubudirira Mwari ari parutivi pedu rambai muchirwa My hitters don't die, the real hitters gon' shine and my people gon' rise 'cause we're born to win, I ain't saying but I'm saying
Loyalty's my favorite characteristic of God, but finding it in it is hard. It's like trying to find God. You're the only one in your camp with cheese. You pay for everything they eat. Man, that insecurity is deep. Now I ain't said no names. These are just theories. If you hear me, baby, it's home. You must admit it's kinda eerie, baby. Like them chemtrails in the sky. Hate the selling the slaves, kinda like the combines. We say everything in moderation, but don't do it in moderation. The lies of a gluttonous generation. 10-year-old girl.
Rise and shine, everybody. It's Deante Damper here with The Day with Trae. I'm so happy to be here. I hope you guys are having a blessed day out there. I had a great weekend, but I want to reach out to one of my homies. I know he's out there in Houston, in H-Town, where it goes down. How you doing, O?
Hey, man, you know what I'm saying? Come on, the smile says it all. I'm back here in Houston. This is 2 times in 2 weeks. And this is really big. It's already like big when I come down here. You know, my youngest daughter, Victoria, lives here in Houston. So I was already planning on coming back here this week anyway. But then the Mariners, you know what I'm saying? They clinched there and they play the Astros tomorrow and Thursday. And I know we got Chuck's going to talk about it. So, man, I'm living my best life down here in H-Town, bro.
Man, it's so good. We had a great weekend out here. You know, I stayed home a little bit. You know, I watched a lot of House of Dragons. I had to catch back up on my show. But, you know, we do have some community calls to action this morning. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yes, let me get right into this real quick. This is on a very serious note. This coming out of Central District of Seattle here yesterday. I've been looking for Sky Sanchez, was 5 years old, braided hair, pink shirt, blue skirt, pink shoes, taken by her parent, by her mom. And they're from a supervised visit there on MLK in the Madison Valley. So 5 years old, Sky Sanchez is now missing, was taken by her mom. And the police are actively looking for her, Seattle Police Department. If you have any information on the whereabouts of Sky Sanchez or her mother, Kiana Sanchez, then the Seattle Police Department wanting you to call 911. Again, this was right there in the Central District on in Madison Valley on Martin Luther King and Madison. So want to bring that to community's attention.
Yes, we definitely have to make sure we share that out. I know I've seen it and was sharing it on all my platforms last night. Just sending my prayers to the family, but we have to work together, community. We have a Black girl that's missing. We know that the news outlets aren't going to be talking about it as much. So it is up to what? It's up to us.
Definitely up to us. Today is it's real interesting, depending upon what part of the country you're in. Some people, it's Columbus Day, but, you know, of course, there in Seattle or Washington State, it's Indigenous Peoples Day. That's right. Indigenous peoples. And, you know, for a while now, people have been saying the only Christopher that they recognize is Christopher Wallace.
Yes, right. Mine is Chris Rock, but I mean, it's cool. You know, I'm many Chris's, but not that Chris. Maybe like when I think about everybody hates Chris, that's when I think about Christopher Columbus.
Oh man, well, in Indigenous Peoples Day, man. Maybe I was about to say, what are your thoughts on it? But clearly, you're sharing your thoughts.
I mean, I am. I think that one of the things that's really important too is like, yes. Here in Seattle, here in Western Washington, we acknowledge that we are on stolen land. But I think one of the things about it with community, and I said it before when people like Colleen Echohawk was running for mayor, we need to be intentional with putting our Indigenous community members in office, not waiting for these grants to come in, not adding them in to make a grant look good. We need to be more intentional with bringing a lot of our Indigenous community members into the positions of power that were taken away from them four scores and 7 years, and I can't remember, 4 scores and something years ago. What was it, Cindy? What was it? 4 scores and 7 years ago? Well, either way, what I'm saying is we need to uplift our indigenous community members and continue to push them into places that were stripped away from them, such as these positions that people have in these seats now. And yes, that is a shade.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, the thing is, there's a lot of stuff people kind of get wrong or don't realize about Christopher Columbus, man, is that he never made it here to North America. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he never set foot here on North America. Also, if they would have kept their deal, because he was supposed to get a percentage of all the riches that came back there to Spain, like he would have been, like his family would have been one of the richest, ever. But that fell through for him. And also, it's like, no defense of Christopher Columbus, but history is just history, right? So this dude's from Italy, and he go to Spain. He don't speak the local language. You know what I'm saying? He figures out that he's trying to get on, and and sail, and he's got this idea or whatever. And I mean, he's not royalty or anything. He twists some arms and figures out a way to get an audience with the Queen. And then he goes and makes the boldest thing ever. He's like, yo, man, I want to be Admiral of the Seas. Like, the whole story is wild. And then what it opened up clearly after that is a whole nother thing. But it's like, in certain parts of America, Columbus Day is very serious business. And even there in Washington State, we have the mighty Columbia River. And, there's so many things Columbus across America. But I mean, the uplift is real for our indigenous people. You know what I'm saying? Our indigenous family was out there who we already know hundreds of years of, genocide, marginalization, and everything else. So, I mean, I feel it. I feel Indigenous Peoples Day. I'm saying I'm 100% behind that. I love the sound of it. And, I love the uplift. It's real.
I'll leave it with this. It's no different from how people celebrate Pride Month during June. Like, yes, we have one day in the space to acknowledge Indigenous people, but we need to be doing that every damn day.
Well, you know what? I try to acknowledge. Sorry, I be trying to acknowledge all my Pride fam every day.
Yes, absolutely. I appreciate that, brother.
Come on, man. Big O, I show up. I show up for my people. Hey, speaking of showing up, though, man, excuse me, it's been something that's pretty interesting for us. And a lot of times with Converge, we always like to say we put paint where it ain't, and there ain't been a lot of paint on the protests that are going on around Seattle in regards to what's happening there in Iran. And you got out there in the streets. I know photographer Jordan Sommers. Big shout out to him. He's been following these protests, but you and Cesar Canizales got out there in the streets on Friday, right?
Yes. Oh my God. Friday was amazing. We were down the 520 bridge, walking down, standing up for our Iranian community members and actually getting more knowledge. Because keep in mind, these other new outlets, much love to them, but there wasn't enough. I calculated how many minutes this topic was discussed, and it was with all three media outlets, and it was only less than 4 minutes over the course of the week. So me, Caesar, and Jordan, shout out to them. We actually walked down that 520 corridor and stood up with our Iranian brothers and sisters and non-binary folks, and then walked over there to the UW and talked to some of our community members. In the community, keep in mind, there was no one else there. There was no other community there but us. And very happy to stand with our community members from Iranian Americans United who facilitated the event.
All right, we'll take a look at this video right now.
Hundreds of people gathered in Seattle on Friday to condemn the Iranian government's crackdown on protesters in that country in the aftermath of the death of a young woman who was killed while in police custody. Dozens of protesters there had been killed or arrested. The protests in Iran began after 22-year-old Mahsa Amini was arrested by Iran's so-called morality police for allegedly violating the Islamic country's strict dress code for head coverings. She died a few days after being detained. People of all ages showed up to the Seattle demonstration to voice their support for the protesters in Iran, dozens of whom have been killed or arrested in the last few weeks. They marched on a busy highway leading into the city, holding signs and chanting. Drivers showed their support by honking. The marchers then went to the University of Washington, where they held a candlelight vigil, singing and chanting.
Iranian high school children, university students, and older people and their parents and everybody is on the streets of Iran calling for freedom, asking for freedom, and they're getting killed in response.
Farahnaz Daroudi has been in the U.S. for 43 years and is outraged by what is happening in Iran.
It's not only for hijab, it's not for hair, it's for all the women's right in Iran that never had it. They never had it for 43 years.
She said she would give up her own life for those getting killed over there.
I wish I was there and I was killed instead of all those innocent children and young people that are our country's future.
Neela, who asked that we not use her last name, said she wants the world to know what is happening to people in Iran.
We are here tonight to let the world know what's going on in Iran and what the Iranian regime doing to the people. They are killing people and they don't care about anything.
As Iranians, we're living in this dual state of hope and despair. You know, there's so much pain and so much anger, so much grief.
Daniel Lotfi grew up in Iran and moved to the United States when he started high school. He says he sees parallels between what's happening over there and here.
As an immigrant, I see so many connections between what's happening in Iran and the fight for liberation, for women's liberation, and how that's connected to the movements in the U.S.
More protests are planned over the next few weeks here in Seattle.
All right, Deante, what sparked your attention, about this to make you want to go out there and join with the protesters?
When I think about it, and I think about community, I think about the message. I just noticed, as I stated before, that there wasn't any media pushes for this, but just thinking about women's rights in general, right? I noticed that when we were talking, and here I go with a dig again, but when we're talking about white women and their rights, it's all over the news. It's casted. We are sharing it constantly throughout community. Oh my gosh, we have to show up. We have to do this. We have to show up. But let a person of color. Iran has been going through so much scrutiny from the U.S. So which starts in a whole bunch of different. Starts a different conversation. But when we're talking about the women out there, because this isn't the first protest that they've had behind this, and let alone the government out there aren't even releasing more information that she was actually murdered in there. So let's also start there. No different from sticking up for women here in America. Converge Media and everyone here, staff here, is standing with our Iranian brothers and sisters. It was amazing to see elders in their 80s and 90s standing there with little girls under the age of 4, standing in solidarity because they're thinking about family members that they lost in that space. So for me, it's hurtful. It was hurtful to watch, but I also know that if it doesn't have white attached to it, it's not news, and that's the part that really hurts. That hurts the most.
That part, huh? Yeah, I think that this when we look at this protest, once again, big shout out to Jordan Somers, photographer. He has roots there in Iran, and it was something I kind of saw on national news, but not like local, and so he brought it to my attention, and he was like, "Man, I want to go and cover this." And I was like, "Man, well, you should." Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. People talk about it as Converge. Why a lot of times, clearly we're a black media news source for Pacific Northwest, which we are. But it was like last year when Council President Deborah Juarez and Gabe Galanda, they came on air and they talked about the missing and murdered Indigenous women and children. And it was just a spark in my mind that is like, how can we ever have an expectation for other communities to care about our young Black boys and girls that are getting murdered in the streets and gun violence, if we can't open up our platform and our hearts for other communities that are impacted. And so that's why it's like, we do a lot of stuff now with awareness around the native communities. And then, also this Iranian community. I got a few Iranian friends, but it isn't like I kick it with them. I'm deep in the community, but it's like, it's, if we have an expectation for people to care about what we care about, then we need to also care and make space and amplify what other people care about. So, what I'm saying? I'm glad that you guys have been out there and stayed on top of this.
It was a great experience, and shout out to all the people that we interviewed. Definitely want to shout out Jordan and Caesar, who captured everything beautifully. And Jordan, I believe, was out there yesterday in Kirkland as well. But if people want to get more information on Facebook, you can look up Iranian Americans United on the Facebook page. They have more protests, and the protests will continue to come until we get freedom out there for our community members.
Yeah,
and I just
no, I'm sorry, I cut you off. You want to say what?
No, it was a lot to unpack through that weekend. I've never walked down the 520, but that was worth it. It was worth it to stand there with our community members.
Yeah,
and again, I challenge other community members that are in offices and that are out there trending on Twitter with some of their feminism, right? That stick up for our people of color that are going through the same thing. We have you just heard something earlier. We got a Black girl that's missing. I ain't seen it on many of those people's Twitter feeds, and you know why. I'm tired of it. If it ain't white, if it ain't white, it ain't right. I'm tired of the white lives, the white lives matter without really authentically advocating for our women of color.
You're right.
We got to go to a commercial break. I'm sorry. Because I'm getting a little flustered. Who do we got when we come back?
I'm fighting with the buttons back there with what you go. There he is. It's Chuck, Circling Seattle Sports.
We're gonna talk a little bit about these Mariners when we come back. You're watching The Day with Trae.
Get ready, everyone. October 24th and 25th, Converge Media is heading right back to the Paramount Theater. Join me, Besa Gordon, Eric Calligraphy, Trae Holiday, and the entire Converge Media family as we once again broadcast live with conversations on art, culture, mental health, community issues, and more. Trust me, you won't want to miss a single moment. Head over to whereweconverge.com for more information, and we will see you October 24th and 25th, streaming live across all Converge Media platforms.
Community, it's been 3 years since we've been able to celebrate in person at our annual Evening with Choice. And this year at Access in Pioneer Square on October 19th at 6 p.m., we will be back together again, celebrating our journey, healing towards justice. This past couple of years have been incredibly difficult for our young people and our community at large. And one thing that has become clear and absolutely true is there's one way forward that brings all of us together, and that's as we heal. And when our young people heal, they're truly able to become who it is they've been purposed to be. So on this evening, you'll hear stories of our young people, hear the evolution of our organization as we emphasize healing in our cause. And together we will celebrate another year of impact and growth as we journey towards justice together. Again, it's at Access in Pioneer Square, 6 p.m. on October 19th, and live streaming will be available through YouTube at I Choose 180.
And we're back with The Day with Trae. Okay, so a lot of things have been going on in the areas of sports. Okay, so we got our brother Chuck here with Circling Seattle Sports. How you doing, brother?
Oh, it's been. You can tell I've been kind of losing my voice.
Yeah,
on the yelling I've been
we
doing.
were talking about
It's been an exciting weekend. I mean, with all this happening, I don't mean to age anybody, but none of this has happened. This playoff stuff with the Mariners since I was about 3 months old.
Okay.
So it's been a long time. So all of this, the playoffs, just making it is a big deal. But with what happened over the past weekend, it just continues. It's a Dave Niehaus quote, famous Mariners broadcaster. It's just been incredible. It's been a lot of fun, just to see all these people, gathered around this team, and just from all over Seattle. You see Mariners crap everywhere.
Absolutely.
I don't know if I should have said that word, but just it's really fun to, like, the reactions. We had the watch parties over at T-Mobile Park to watch these away games because they were in Toronto, and just to see people take time out of their day, bring their kids to watch these games, and just the energy, the excitement. I say it a lot. A lot of that stuff, like packed houses, great energy in these crowds. I don't see that much anywhere else than in sports. And that's obviously, there are a lot of things in sports that can be improved upon the many different sports we have in this country. But the energy like that, it's really hard to replicate for me. So
yeah,
it's been a lot of fun to see all this take place.
Okay, now catch me up. Okay, so sorry, community, y'all gonna laugh at me, but I'm not that. I'm into sports. I'm still like, you just said it was ESPN. I've been calling it ESPN my whole life.
We can roll with ESPN.
Okay, ESPN. Okay, so can you update us on what happened during the last game that we had?
So the Mariners traveled to Toronto to play 2 games against the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays, if the Mariners, whenever they play Toronto here, like all of Canada comes down to watch that game. They like take over. It's a big deal. So there's a little bit of a rivalry going on right there. Toronto's a good team, but because of the Mariners not doing essentially enough as the end of the season, they couldn't host they couldn't have these here. So we had to go on the road to Toronto, which is no easy feat. So you can see, we've got it on the screen here. October 7th, they went to Toronto, took care of business, really dominated that game. It was like, oh, shoot. So you mean business? Because this playoffs deal, it was like, okay, you made it after 21 years. You might just be happy to be here, right? 5 years is a long time. 10 years, let alone a drought of 20 years of not doing something. It's a big deal. And you think, okay, maybe they're just going to be happy to be here. They're going to be out of here.
Yeah.
And then they dominate game 1, and you're like, whoa.
What was the score?
3-0.
Okay.
I say dominate, but it's because, the 0 there is a big deal because Toronto, they're a really good offensive team. Mm-hmm. So to see them just kind of blank is huge. Game 2 is the big deal here. You can see 10-9. That's a lot of, for baseball, that's a lot.
Okay, yeah.
So the Mariners were down 8-1 at one point. You think, oh, shoot. I heard fans in the building, oh, we'll be here tomorrow for game 3 because if they lost game 2, you'd have to play a game 3. We'll be here again. Oh, you see the Mariners lose, and it's like the 5th inning, and you're like, 5th out of 9. You're like, oh, shoot, this is, you had game 1. It was great. Maybe you use all your energy then. You're behind, pushed in. You're like, oh, shoot. So 8-1. And you come back, and it starts coming back, and you're like, oh, shoot. Maybe they mean business, or maybe they're just giving their last little hurrah.
Yeah.
It's only so they come back and win 10-9 and kind of stun Toronto. Kind of feel bad because Toronto sports teams have a tendency to choke in the playoffs.
Okay.
But it's only the 3rd ever comeback in postseason history of 7 or more runs. So only 3 times that's happened over about a few hundred years because baseball is an old sport.
Okay, and when's the last time that we have actually been in the playoffs?
21 years ago.
21 years ago. So was that with Ichiro was on?
Yeah, that was his rookie year.
See, I do be knowing some stuff.
I'll give you credit.
I had to go back and think, yeah, okay.
Back early October of 2001 was like the last time they had won it. I don't know if you ever see percentages about who's got a better chance to win. Toronto had a 99 out of 100, 99% chance to win like halfway through that game. And you're like, again, you thought they were dead to rights. And just this incredible comeback that I've never seen before. I had kind of tuned out. I'm like, all right, we'll be back tomorrow. I'm not worried about it because you play 3. I've got another chance at this. Also, that day, October 8th, was 27 years to the day where Edgar Martinez, a famous Mariner, one of the all-time greats, hit his famous double.
Okay. And I remember. All right now. I remember that time frame. That's when my grandpa watched it a lot. So I remember. I think it was Edgar, Tito, Martinez,
yep.
Jay Buhner,
King Griffey Jr. The bald heads.
Yeah, King Griffey Jr. and Randy Johnson.
Yep.
Okay. See, look at God. Okay. Yeah.
There we go. Yeah.
Okay.
No, absolutely. That's exact same timetable. So just it's been a long time, and a lot of people, our Storm have made the playoffs continuously and won championships. Sounders have been in the playoffs. The Seahawks won a Super Bowl over this time that this drought has taken place. So a lot of people kind of write the Mariners off. They're like, same old Mariners. They're going to do what they're going to do.
Yeah.
They're going to fall on their face.
But they're doing good. But we got a Storm coming. Aren't we playing in Houston soon?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. If we've got that Big O's in Houston.
Yeah.
I mean, he was talking about it. I don't know if he wants to say anything, but we got it on the screen here. Games 1 and 2 are on Tuesday and Thursday. So this is unfortunate. Tuesday at 12:37.
Okay.
So it's the middle of the day. What are you going to be doing, right? You might have work. You might be doing something. I know it's tough. And then Thursday, the same thing, 12:37. But the big thing is October 15th right there. You see, that is back in Seattle. We don't know what time that'll be, unfortunately, but that's the first home playoff game. And again, 20 years. And I know the city's been starving for that sort of thing. So this is a big deal. Like you and I were talking about before we got live here, right? Houston is the big bully.
Yeah.
Houston's kind of been, since they came into our conference, people, I'm sure, if you have little baseball knowledge, Houston's had a famous cheating scandal. So there was that big thing. There's not a lot of love for Houston outside of the Houston community there. But yeah, this is kind of your big bad. So if you can, with that big comeback, I really do think you have a chance. When I was looking at this before we actually got in the playoffs, they said the only team in the playoffs I'm worried about is Houston.
Okay.
Because, again, they've been the big bad.
Well,
right?
what do you think Seattle needs to do? Well, if you were coaching, Chuck, what would you throw in?
So, well, I mean, I think it comes down to what a lot of the Mariners have done already this season. They have good pitching. You're going to need that. Any playoff team is going to need that because Houston has good pitching too. So you're going to need to match up with them in that regard. Your defense is going to need to continue to do well. They had the least errors in all of MLB, so they're tidy on defense. They're nice and tidy. And then I think the big thing is your offense. Your offense, if anyone reads my my game recap blogs on the blog site, they'll know I complain about how the offense is really like Jekyll and Hyde, up and down.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to need to bring it. You're going to need to bring it and show up. So I guess it's a lot of these guys have been waking up as the playoffs. Some of these guys who had a tough year have been waking up. So it's just continuing to get the most out of the guys are going to do well. But also, hey, there are guys who might have been written off. I need you right now. Because, again, your pitching and your defense is going to do its job. Your offense is your biggest factor to me. And I think if you want it as a coach, you want something of substance. I'm going to give you some substance. You need to take one of these games in Houston.
Yeah.
Because it's best of 5. You play 2 games then in Houston, 2 games in Seattle, and 1 more if they go to game 5 would be in Houston. You got to steal one in Houston. Okay. So
I think we're going to do it. I think we're going to win the Super Bowl.
World Series. It's the same. It's the same level.
Okay.
So you were right in that same level.
Okay.
But
Oops.
All
right.
I think yes. If we can get past Houston, I think you can take it all. I really do. But no, give yourself more credit.
I'm trying. I knew some of the players. I mean, I'm gonna get it right. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna be watching Circle and Seattle sports. No, so can you do me a favor? Look at the camera and tell us when we could be able to watch.
Okay, so these Mariner games, game 1 is on Tuesday, 12:37 p.m. Pacific time on TBS. I know it's been tough with baseball because the streaming services and all that. Don't get me wrong, I get it too. It's hard to watch some of this stuff. TBS, all of these games are going to be on TBS. Game 1 and game 2, 12:37. Game 1 is on Tuesday. Game 2 is on Thursday. I will be at Hatback Bar and Grill in Steelheads Alley, down right across from the ballpark, so I don't have to worry about paying for some streaming service, and I can go watch it at that cool, nice Steelheads Alley that's got all that history. There are a ton of places you can watch these Mariner games. There's the Mariners Bar League, Steelhead Alley, right across from the ballpark. Really great spot to be. But if you want to watch it from the comfort of your own home, TBS will have these games 12:37 p.m. Tuesday and Thursday are game 1 and 2 down in Houston. Or, if you watching it's too much, I know baseball is kind of a slower sport. I get that. I respect it. We on social media at Circling Seattle Sports will always have updates from the games, scores, injury, all that stuff. I mean, that's my job. That's what I do. So if you'd like to just update at your own pace, Don't get me wrong. I can do that for you on there.
Okay, well, we can't wait.
I'm sorry. Jumping in here real quick.
Wait, I thought you was gone.
No, I'm here. Chuck, I think that what Deante wanted you to tell people as well is how can people keep up with you? And
Right, that's what I was asking. Yes.
Well, thank you for bringing that up, and I'm sorry I didn't get that.
Yeah,
Lost that
okay.
in translation there. But yes, on Instagram, we're at Circling Seattle Sports. On Twitter, if you put in Circling Seattle Sports, we'll pop up. It's our CSS logo like you saw during the commercial. Or if you're looking for the direct it's at Circling Sports. On Facebook, Circling Seattle Sports, type that all in there. And obviously, on Mondays, we have our weekly show, Circling Seattle Sports, on Converge Media here in the Black Media Matters studio, myself, as well as Belle Garcia, all the incredible photographers we work with. We always have our Mariners coverage. I know O is he's in Houston right now. He's busy, but I know he's a hat guy. I got to get him one of the hats with the playoff logos on it. I know he's probably maybe a little bit jealous that I got that. We'll get him geared up, but yes, Instagram at Circling Seattle Sports, Twitter at Circling Sports, Facebook, Circling Seattle Sports. It's what we do here. We cover all our teams, but this Mariners, it's really exciting for me. It's very emotional just because, my dad gave me baseball at such a young age, and it's been rough. I told you, same old Mariners, you get here, they suck. You're not going to make again this year. 20 years of that, most of my existence as a human being, so to see them finally break through, it's like you're cheering for the underdog for the longest time, and they're doing the thing right now. So I just hope they get to where we were saying,
Yeah, knock on wood.
We gotta get there first, but
right. How do you feel? I know. O's been would tag me in these Mariners games, and I wouldn't know what's going on. But
let me tell you something. If you go to Twitter right now and you put in my handle, Omari Saul, right? And I tweeted this last night, and it's lightweight gone viral here in Seattle. Okay, it's over 1,057 likes, 42 retweets. I said, why am I such a Mariners fan? When I was a kid in the Central District, Alvin Davis would come to the CD and give us tickets. I'd walk down to the Kingdom and watch the M's play. I saw all the legends. His act of kindness decades ago never left me and never will. See us rise. That's how I feel, man. I love these M's, dog. You know what I'm saying? This is the best. I'm living my best life right now.
Yes, that is amazing. See, I need to come to a game then.
15. Let's do it. We need tickets.
It's gonna be expensive.
Okay, y'all both want to be all quiet. I want to go see the. Playoffs.
I think we need to get that. Well, playoffs. I got a limited budget, so we'll work on what we can work on. But regardless, we'll have to get you out to one of these. It's a lot of fun.
I want some peanuts and Cracker Jacks.
I'm done.
Okay, And on that note, we will be. Thank you so much for coming in, Chuck. We will be right back with the day with Trae.
Get ready, everyone. October 24th and 25th, Converge Media is heading right back to the Paramount Theater. Join me, Basil Gordon, Eric Calligraphy, Trae Holiday, and the entire Converge Media family as we once again broadcast live with conversations on art, culture, mental health, community issues, and more. Trust me, you won't want to miss a single moment. Head over to whereweconverge.com for more information, and we will see you October 24th and 25th, streaming live across all Converge Media platforms.
Community, it's been 3 years since we've been able to celebrate in person at our annual Evening of Choice. And this year at Access in Pioneer Square on October 19th at 6 p.m., we will be back together again, celebrating our journey, healing towards justice. This past couple of years have been incredibly difficult for our young people and our community at large. And one thing that has become clear and absolutely true is there's one way forward that brings all of us together, and that's as we heal. And when our young people heal, they're truly able to become who it is they've been purposed to be. So on this evening, you'll hear stories of our young people, Hear the evolution of our organization as we emphasize healing in our cause. And together we will celebrate another year of impact and growth as we journey towards justice together. Again, it's at Access and Pioneer Square, 6 p.m. on October 19th, and live streaming will be available through YouTube at I Choose 180.
Hey y'all, welcome back to The Day with Trae. We're about to close on out, but I just wanted to show this overlay one more time. Oh, where you come from? You can't be popping up like that. It's like, remember Bewitched when the wife would just, the mom would just pop up? That's what you just
Come on, man. I'm everywhere like air, bro. I'm up in here. Now I knew you were getting ready to go to this, and not to like come in and hop on your shine or nothing. No, but you know, if I'll put this up here real quick. Man, To Kill a Mockingbird, this is something really special over there at Seattle Theater Group, the STG Paramount, and it's 11th through the 16th, and really want to encourage people to get out there, you know what I'm saying, and see this. I mean, it's always been like a powerful show, but on the 13th, here's what I wanted to let you know, that on the 13th, there's a matinee, and we got some tickets for that. And one, I'm talking to our audience, but also talking to you, Deante, because we really want to be intentional about sharing this powerful performance with people in our community who might even need it, you know. So it could just be like people that you work with there, you know what I'm saying, at the various organizations that you work with, or, you know, I mean, exposing this play to, you know, to different community members. But the 13th, if anybody wants to go, you know what I'm saying, from this broadcast, from the day with Trae, all you need to do is just email Besa. Besa actually handles the tickets. Besa, BESA, at whereweconverge.com. That's the 13th, right? It's the 13th, and it's the matinee show. I believe it's early in the day. It might be 11 a.m. or something like that. But, man, we really want you to get out there and to see To Kill a Mockingbird. Have you seen this before, Deante?
I have seen it very many years ago, but I think that my mom is one of the first black and white movies, that and Imitation of Life, were the main movies that she wanted me to watch, and it's so funny. I was just actually talking to her about this a couple of weeks ago, and actually I was talking to Jay Martin about it last week when we went out to eat. So it's like, this is really important for us for people, especially with lived experience, to go see. I think that this will be amazing for a lot of those community members. So if you guys are interested, please hit up our girl Besa up.
Yeah, no, I'm putting this. You know, this is when I'm on the road. Are you seeing how relaxed Curtis looks back there?
Curtis is so relaxed right now. I wish I could show you what he was just doing, but I promise you.
That's because it's two directors. You know what I'm saying? And you got to remember that for like 6 months, and we're in between studio. This used to be me and Trayana, and I would direct right here from my laptop. And so Curtis is back there, but he knows, like, oh, big old, you know what I'm saying? We'll press the buttons and
yeah, but don't worry, Curtis is still directing. He's smiling from ear to ear right now.
Cuddy. This is my man. Hey, this is your show, so I'm gonna pop out right here, man. But I will be back tomorrow.
Okay, I'll see you tomorrow. Oh. And I want to thank y'all tomorrow. And I'll see y'all again tomorrow. Same time, same channel, Converge Media. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, y'all. Tomorrow we'll have amazing guests. And I'll be surrounded around amazing community people like yourselves. I'm Deante, and thank you for watching The Day with Trae.
Converge Media produces culturally relevant content for Black and urban audiences. Our coverage is raw, transparent, and objective, praised by community leaders, government officials, and residents. Support Converge Media today via Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal at Converge Media.